The allocations tool in Figured can be used to add product movements to existing crop sales, as we've shown in a previous video, but it also is a useful tool for driving gross margin reporting across crop and livestock trackers. You can do this in a couple of ways. On the left here you'll notice we have all the transactions that have flowed in from zero. We can filter these using the tool at the top, either by account, by status, so everything that's showing in here at the moment is unallocated, but we can, if we want to, refer to the other statuses of allocated, dismissed, or just see everything. We can filter by transaction type as well, so if you want to try and pinpoint a specific method of entry, you can do that, and by expenses or income or date. In terms of allocating the transactions, it is dependent on the account type. So if it's an income account, you'll have the option to record a sale or allocate other income, as we saw in the previous video. But in this one, as it's an expense, our options are either allocate the expense to a tracker, be it crop or livestock in this example, or we can record this as a purchase. With something like electricity, we're obviously not going to do that. If we wanted to capture this expense against a tracker, we could add the allocations. So I'm going to go allocate expense crop, and I'll put it to my wheat 2020 tracker and press done. For something like office expenses, we're not going to have that contribute to our gross margin reporting, so we'll just leave that as an overhead, so we'll press dismiss. For this electricity one, as an example, we might record a couple of different distributions to it, so we're going to split this one between wheat and barley, so we can add multiple trackers if we like, and you can either press distribute equally, or you can adjust the dollar amounts or the percentages in there if you like. So manual allocations, as you can see, we can do as many as we like, but there's a lot of transactional information flowing in from zero, and for the most part people don't want to attribute all of these expenses to our various trackers and enterprises. So what we have up here is the ability to create rules, and much like the rules that are in zero, there's attributes to the rules which we can either use to allocate them where we want or dismiss them. So starting at the bottom, I've got a dismiss historical rule. This allows me to ignore any previous data. For example, I might not have been on Figured way back then, so I've chosen to dismiss any data prior to that. That's also good for removing conversion balances and those kind of things that might have come in from prior systems. Then we can have our rules structured in a few different ways. So in this example here, I'm using a tracking option in zero, which is a tag which we can add to transactions. I'm monitoring all expense accounts, and that is going to push the allocation 100% to my wheat 2019 crop. In another example, like my repairs and maintenance here, I've decided that I don't want to track this at all, so anytime I see the account repairs and maintenance, I'm going to dismiss it. You can have date sensitive rules. So in this example, I've got a tracking option in zero, which is called crop split, which I might be using for something like my agronomy fees. And what I've done in here is said that anytime an expense account has the tracking option of crop split on it, I want it broken up on this basis, a 40-40-20 split between my wheat, oats and barley, but only for transactions in this date range. So it's a good way to capture some of these costs that we want to spread across our enterprises by date range at an assumption. Now that I've recorded some allocations in our allocations tool, I can double check them if I like, so I can see anything that I've allocated by changing the status, and it will filter my list down. I can also filter by account. If necessary, I can edit these allocations. Now these have come in via the rule that we have set, so if I needed to adjust this, I could delete the allocation and then manually override it. And allocations can be seen in our crop trackers. So looking at our actuals, these are the transactions that have come in via the allocator. They're not editable through here. They are editable via switching back to the allocations tool, locating the transaction by date and by account, and then deleting the existing allocation and then manually overriding it.